drama appeared, people kept jumping off the building and killing themselves. Like 160 jumpers in 1 year jumped off of the Sunshine 60 building. And they were wondering, gee, I wonder why. Maybe it's because we built it on the site of a series of prisons, and specifically the execution grounds.
Oops.
There's actually a floor that is barred off because anyone who goes to that floor ends up dead the next day. So they no longer allow people in there. Okay. So, Japanese folklore in the media. I'm sure a lot of you know, or as you've been listening to us, you might say, oh, that's from there, that's from there. But like, just to sort of summarize, you might not find it so surprising now that in all Japanese horror movies, the ghost is typically a woman because of this association with women being evil. On the other hand, there's currently quite a few movies that show the yokai side of Japanese folklore. I mentioned Gegege no Kitaro, which is very interesting because pretty much every character that shows up in the movie is a real yokai, except for, of course, the human characters, except for Kitaro. He is a completely made-up yokai.
He's a hair demon.
He's a hair demon. He has each strand of hair can be shot out like a dart, so he goes, bah, and he throws them out, but eventually he goes bald, and then he has to bring them all back, and they stick back to his head. And some of them can form into an antenna, and he can find things, that kind of thing, but he's not a real yokai in that sense. We also have other movies like Dororo, which is actually based on a manga, but a lot of the demons that the main character fights are comparable to Japanese folklore creatures in the same pantheon, like the Tengu, for example. And we also have movies that are based on specifically Abe no Seimei, namely Onmyoji, where they reference his heritage as maybe being the child of the fox. And there are so many anime and manga that there's too many to list in terms of examples. We've talked about Yu Yu Hakusho, we've talked about Ponpoko, but I'm sure you probably can think of a bunch more. Though recently, there have been some pretty good examples of anime and manga that really utilize Japanese folklore. Natsume Yuchincho is
Natsume's Book of Friends. I don't know,
right.
has anyone heard of it yet?
Yay!
Awesome!
And something that aired in Japan about last year or so is Nunariho no Mago, which is a very well-known manga. It's my personal favorite because every single character is a real yokai, and it makes me really excited.
She was advertising it for a while.
Yes, and they also bring in all the traditions, like for example, the village that they go to is called Tono Village, which was actually the name of a collection of oral stories that Japanese authors, you don't know his name, a Japanese author collected all through Japan, specifically in the same geographical region that they placed Tono Village. So they throw in little nods to Japanese folklore everywhere, so I love it a lot. But are there any questions? Because we've been talking really kind of fast-paced and yeah, this is like, there are mics here. If you like, so people can.
Have you ever heard of that one thing that's supposedly like a song or a game that like people would sing a long time ago, like when they're walking around at night as Japanese kids they do? It's like where they would like say something and then the last syllable in the word they would say something else.
The letter Shiritori? Shiritori. Yeah. Shiritori is, to my knowledge, just a children's game, but at the time, it was, a lot of the children's games were actually taught to children to keep them away from spirits, so there is maybe that association with it, but nowadays it's not considered very effective against supernatural presences. Yes. We can't, could you possibly go to the mic, because we can't hear very well. Sorry.
Is a Zarawashi a kind of folk tale?
I'm sorry?
A Zarawashi?
Zaruwashi. Zaruwashi. As in the spirit? Yes, it is. So the Zarawashi is a spirit that inhabits homes. We could only talk about really the most prominent members of the Japanese pantheon in terms of yokai, but it's a spirit that as long as you are treating your house well, it will reward you with good fortune. It usually looks very similar to those kokeshi dolls. And that's actually why the kokeshi doll looks the way it does, because of the Zarawashi association, I guess. Anyone who has questions, you're welcome to line up to the mics. That way everyone can hear. Yes.
I remember like about a year ago I was reading a story that supposedly somewhere in the 1960s or 70s there was actually a report of like an autopsy of a woman with just like her face just slashed like a Joker.
Yes, we actually talked about her earlier. That was the Slipknot woman, the Kushisake Onna. She's a very famous ghost, well, really a physical creature, but she haunts streets, and if you encounter her, if you don't, well, we already talked about it, so I don't really want to repeat that.
Just last part. Any like preferred reading?
Any preferred reading? Books written by Claudio Kern are good for the classical stories. He was the first European man to write about Japanese folklore in English during the Imperial period in Japan, when the Portuguese were allowed in, so that's a very good resource. There's some fun things like a yokai survival guide that's been circulating around. It's very cheap. But those would be the two sources I think.
We're going to dinner now. Okay. Welcome or?
Don't pick up on it soon enough.
Yeah, I was the first one waiting out here, so as soon as somebody came out, I got to go in.
You've been waiting outside?
Well, my costume takes a while to take off. So.
Yeah, I know how that is.
Yeah, and just god, and after I took it, I figured I'd leave it on, but he's supposed to.
Well, next year's okay, I'm probably gonna watch some Steins Gate, so I'll be here for a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I like not only does it take a while to take off, but I wanted a few minutes. Like, oh god, I need my intestines are reforming. So I needed a few moments. And then I also tried to pack up as much stuff as I could. There's like I left the costume out to air out, but everything else is pretty much away. Oh my god, I can run again.
Okay,
yeah.
So I assume that we're going to be waiting a little while for, like, before we leave to collect people, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea what the plan is, honestly.
Okay, but we're going to be, like, waiting around a little while. Yeah, I told them we're going to show up. Yes.
What?
Solo, I think you might have the right idea. Cosplay makes cons.
What? Wait, what?
It makes cons very uncomfortable.
Oh, well, maybe uncomfortable.
You can't do anything. I know how that is very well. Yeah. Like, you can't do anything as a convention other than wear your costume because you're so distracted by all the It's a regulator. I love this Komodo though, I just wear it around.
Yeah.
It's just like...
So clearly next year I'll bring my SWAT uniform as my casual cosplay.
What?
I'll bring my SWAT uniform as my casual cosplay.
Oh, okay.
This is our 4th year here. Every single time it has been at least 90 degrees and always sunny. And typically very humid as well.
I think this is the coolest day that I've had experienced at an Otakon.
Probably because you're dressed like this now, but
Yeah, well,
Okay, the fact that I didn't die on the way over is probably a good indication it wasn't that hot. Wearing a layer of black over a layer of black over a layer of white over a layer of black over a corset.
we're gonna be smart waiting inside.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Of course, best you. So we're supposed to meet around this.
Well, I say, yeah, this is the way over, but let's wait inside.
Yeah, there's room.